Good evening, everybody at TikTok land, Facebook land. Can I tell you, this is the day Yahweh has made. And man, I am all about that rejoicing. I am all about it, man. I got to tell you, today is just an amazing day. Praise Yahweh. So many things getting put to bed today. I filed criminal sanctions on a certain somebody that removed a child from a certain jurisdiction to 13 counties away without telling anybody. Oops. You can't do that. Anyway, and so I helped somebody out with that today and filed some criminal sanctions today, and that's going to go. And then the mandamus that I filed should also hurt too. And one of the reasons that one's going to hurt real bad too is because, I don't know if you remember this, but the county prosecutor filed an appeal against this case. So now that the county prosecutor filed an appeal and got it, now I'm filing something else through the appellate court. Wow. It's that Morton salt thing. When it rains, it pours. I love it. All right, guys, we're going to get started in like 2 minutes. Welcome to the call. Natasha's here. And well, Jamie may show up. We may see Chris poke his head in here. But you know what? The important thing is that you guys are here. So I want to welcome all of you guys to the call. We're going to get started in just a little bit. Tonight's call, very unique call. We're going to be talking about the upcoming debt and foreclosure class. Now, I'm going to tell you, we only have one seat left. That's it. Believe it or not, I'm at 5 students right now, and I'm going to leave it at 1 seat. I got 1 more seat left. That's it. And I mean, really, we do. The new TikTok channel here is very good. I very much like this one. And I don't think anybody's looking for me out there, which is nice. Yeah, well, I mean, because I was getting sandbagged pretty bad. My ex-wife's attorneys were coming after me and doing all kinds of silly stuff. But anyway, we've got 1 more minute. We're going to get started, everybody. Welcome. It's a great night tonight, isn't it? I'm telling you. All right. Welcome to the call, everybody. You know what? Let's just go ahead and pull the trigger. Let's just do it.
This call is being recorded.
That's right. You heard her. Welcome to the call, everybody. My name is Tim Damron. I'm with the House of Yah Community Outreach. And as always, Natasha Jordan is also here with us tonight. And I'm so glad that she's here. She's fighting mosquitoes, the internet. I mean, it's all kinds of stuff going on. And in spite of all that, she's still here. So I'm really glad that she's here. Praise be to Yahweh. Lots of stuff happening in the weather. San Antonio just got flooded like crazy last Thursday. I haven't seen water fill up like that on 35 since 1998 when they had the floods in 98, and dang, that was bad. And I think they had lost 10 people, or 10 people were unalived. I think that's the new term they call it now. They don't say nobody gets whacked anymore. They've just been unalived now. All right.
Correct.
Like it sounds better or something. I don't know. But anyway, I guess it's just a sign of old age, when you start looking at the younger generations and they're like, and they say stuff like, that's out of pocket. Out of whose pocket? Who'd you spending money out of? What are you talking about? And these kids are like, oh, he doesn't know what he's talking about. It's like, no, man, nobody knows what you're talking about. Stop it. Stop making up things. Anyway, but, it's that new generation. I want to welcome everybody to the call. Natasha, tell the folks, talk to the folks. You know what? I'm going to pass it over to you. Natasha always addresses everybody. And you know what? This is your time. Welcome to the call, Sean.
Absolutely. Well, yeah. Well, hi, Sean. How are you? And hi to everybody else. I'd just like to welcome everybody. Today is Monday, June the 16th, 2025.
That's right.
As we get started, I'd like to just make a disclaimer saying that we're not lawyers. We don't give legal advice. What you hear us talk about are actually our stories, our testimonies of what we've actually done.
That's right.
And we do not promote any drugs or alcohol, and we're actually here for an hour, and we ask that y'all put questions down at the bottom, and we'll answer them to the best of our ability. Especially for the ones that are, just starting to wake up for this freedom movement that we're getting into, and you've heard this and that and the other, and you need some clarification of the processes and how everything works, and we just welcome your questions, and I hope everybody enjoys the call.
You too. Yeah, that's awesome. That's like the best one you've done yet. That's like awesome. Everybody stand up and give her a round of applause. I just love that, folks. This is awesome. I just love it, man. It's like, you know what, Natasha, having you here and respectfully just makes me always smile on the inside. So having you here, and I know it's got to be doing good stuff for you guys out there, because I know I'll just put you to sleep. And Sean's just got, Sean's got Sean. He's got Sean. He's got his stuff handled. But, but here we are. It's Monday. It's June the 16th. And this is the day that Yahweh has made. You know what? And today I have to rejoice. I've done something I've never done before. I actually filed a mandamus today in appeals court. A full package. And I've been using our new AI service. Well, it's not really ours, but it's ours that we like to use. We'll say that. So I got a membership with what is the name of that thing called? Esquiry.com. That's what it is. And I got a membership over there anyway. And today I filed a mandamus, and this thing drafted this mandamus. And and don't get me wrong. I'm pretty good on the legal side. I do pretty good, but I'm like this big. Okay. So when things come along and they're like the same size, which is most everything. Okay. Now I'm like this big. I'm bigger than the top guy in their law firm now. And the reason why is because I have resources in the very same resources they have. And that's what I love about this thing. I was able to draft a writ of mandamus. And what a writ of mandamus is, everybody, if you don't know what it is, and this isn't legal advice, this is, defining something. Just don't cry about it. It's okay, TikTok. Relax. Just go back to your coffee breaks. A mandamus is something that you file when, let's just say, you file some stuff on the court record and they don't want to answer it. You filed special appearances. You filed motions to dismiss. They don't want to answer it. Well, this is your remedy. And how did I figure out this remedy? Did I go to a lawyer? No. I went to Esquiry.com. And then, I got hooked up. I did the interview process, which is cool. I just loaded up my cases. And here's what's really cool. They will actually keep all of your cases. So I have the Houston County case, everything. It's all in there. It's all uploaded in there. And all I have to do is tell them to do stuff. And because I got the little speaker thing, I can just talk to them and I can tell them to do it. It's like Star Trek. It's awesome. And I was like, all right, take this from this and this from this and that from this and this from this, and let's create a mandamus. Well, and then it gave me an assessment, and it told me, it said, well, we think your chances of a mandamus are pretty good. This is your strong point, strong point, strong point. This is your points that are not so strong. And it was like only 2 things. So we went in there, we tightened up a little things, we added some more case law, we did some other things here, we put a little wax, little shine, and 15 minutes later, boop, it's ready to go. Today, printed up, filed. Have a good day. And everything. Federal lawsuits, whatever you need, man, this thing does it. I don't mean to sound like such a commercial, but I'm just super stoked because this is something that would have taken me a week to do or longer. Because I would have to call one of my friends and be like, hey, man, can you send me over like a template so I can copy it, man, see what it looks like, man? That's how we had to do it back then. And you know what? The lawyers have to do it that way too, because they have software and they have to copy it too. And they fill stuff out and you can just tell. You can tell when they're working off templates and you can tell when they're actually working, which is not very often. Anyway, don't tell your mother I said that. No, I'm kidding. You could tell her. But anyway, this thing was really amazing. And today I was able to do some things that are really amazing. And because of this mandamus, this gives me the ability to shut down a case that has been harassing me we're going into 6 years, you guys. You don't think a county can't be vindictive? Houston County, Texas. Y'all hear me? Houston County, Texas. That's right there. That's not in Harris County. It's in the city of Crockett. It's a little inbred town right there north of that little racist town. It's like right there. And I think some ran over there or something with double chins. I don't know. But anyway, You'll notice you'll know when you're in Houston County because everybody looks the same. And not only do they look the same, they talk the same. They all have the on Aaron kind of accent. And I mean, they are just rubber banding it like down the road, man. They're Aaron. It's too funny, man. It's too funny. I think even the dogs have accents out there. I think they really do. I do, honestly, really. It's interesting. But anyway, that's how you know. And these guys have actually been harassing me for the last 6 years. They hate what I do. They absolutely hate what we do, Natasha. They don't like the fact that we help the public. They believe everybody needs to stay more dumb than they are. But what they don't understand is like, kindergarten's pretty low. I mean, you're really expecting a lot from the people to really just stay under the threshold there of second grade, maybe, best case scenario. And, there you made it. All right, Juan Hernandez just made it on the call. Welcome to the call, brother. Glad you're here. Thank you, man. I'm going to mute you. Okay, that's good. Much respect. Glad you're here, man. All right, I'm muting it. There we go. Anyway, glad you guys all made it on the call. So, anyway, so that's been going on. And so I was able to put that little thing to bed. And then I helped somebody else with a divorce case. And that little person is going to go to jail for probably about 3 years. So it's all good in the hood. And I got to tell you, when you have equity on your side, you're unstoppable. And the reason why is because they use the same streets. It's hard to close a highway when everybody's doing 90 on it, right? I mean, how can you? I mean, well, I guess you could. If you watched an episode of Chips, I guess you could. But I'm just saying it's not practical that you could. So how do we fix this? You travel on the roads that are traveled. We got too many people out there in this movement, you guys, that are trying to make up new ways to make a wheel. You know? They're all talking about new ways to to do your taxes. You know what? If you guys want to learn how to do your taxes, do what I did. Go to the IRS. They got classes. You can actually go take classes with the IRS. No kidding. If you go on to the IRS little class board there, you can go in there and they actually have a class on, you ready? Discharging debt. I'm not kidding you. They really do. But see, that takes aptitude and that takes some time and it takes a lot of things that not a lot of us can really have time to do all that stuff. Not everybody is able to wear 5, 6, 7 different hats and be really good at all of them. Okay, that's hard to do. And I mean, I'm good at like 3, 4. Yeah, I can do a few things. I can do a few things at one time too. But I mean, it's not something everybody can do. Okay, so I want to welcome everybody to the call. One of the things that we're going to be talking about tonight, Natasha, is we got a class coming up on the 18th and 19th, right? Did you see that? Natasha? She fell out.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
No.
She had a Kit
Yeah,
Kat.
no, I hit the wrong button. Yeah, it's debt and foreclosure for June the 18th and 19th.
Right. And we're going to be talking, and that's always a fun class. That's like my favorite class. Now, when we're talking about foreclosure, are we talking about getting ready for them to foreclose on you? Is that what this class is about?
No. It's actually, I really like this class because most of the time when you enter into these contracts, you know, I mean, let's face it, most of the time you sign about 15 different pages. You really don't read everything, and you're just trying to hurry up and get it over and done with. And then as they don't perform and as, you know, whoever your lender doesn't perform as they're supposed to, this class actually teaches you how you can actually foreclose on them if they're not abiding by the contract.
That's right. And and I mean, that's a beautiful, I'm going to show you guys everything that in this class. It's a really long class. It's 2 days, 6 hours. So it's going to be the 18th and the 19th, and we're not repeating nothing. Okay. We're going to be talking about contracts. We're going to be talking about where are you in these contracts. We're going to be talking about lease contracts. We're going to be talking about security agreements. And what do all those things have in common, Natasha? Juan.
I would have to say
Sean. Come on. Y'all jump up and gang up on her. She hasn't had enough coffee today. I'm kidding.
No, I don't know. I would just say that you're, the little small person in the little bitty box at the bottom called the borrower, and that's all that you get on all those.
You're stuck in jail. You guys ever play Monopoly?
Yeah.
And you get thrown in jail on the little thing and you don't get the money in the middle. You get the free part. You go right over there across the table and you get stuck in that little box. That's exactly where the borrower is. Because what is your signature at? It's in the box. Yeah. And so it's servitude. The Bible says the borrower is servant to the lender. Why? Because you have a contract and now you have to perform. Do you guys remember the parable of the rich man? I say this a lot. The parable of the rich man, he went up to Yeshua and he's like, because he's a rich guy, he's smart, he's a man of esteem. He walks up to Yeshua, the Messiah. Lucky guy, by the way. I got to say this. Lucky guy, by the way. More than lucky. Because he's the only one that wrote about this, okay? So this must have been the only guy that really impressed him. But anyway, he showed up in his Rolls Royce Camel or whatever he had, and he had all this, right? But with all of those things that he had to perform. And because he had to perform, that's why Yeshua told him, you got to sell everything you have. And when you sell everything you have, then you take up your problems. Then you'll see what your problems really are. Sell everything you have. Take up your problems and follow me. That's exactly what he said to do. And the guy probably turned whiter than a sheet and probably said no. Because he's in love with his stuff. Also because he's bound to perform. And that's exactly what these contracts are. But don't boo-hoo-hoo about them, okay? Guys, we forget about these contracts. You know what I mean? And your lenders want you to do that. I'm going to show you what to do with those. I'm going to show you how to monetize those contracts. I'm going to show you how to monetize your lease contracts so you can get paid. So you can clog a couple of holes in that bucket of ours, that one that they gave us when we were in school, when you're a teenager, and they're like, all right, here's your budget, Tim. Put your stuff in there. And all your money went in there. And then you have a car payment and they come drill a big bottom hole in the bottom and then stuff starts coming out, right? You're losing $300 a month. Dang. And then you have kids. Forget it. The bottom's gone. Just forget it, man. It's gone. Every time you throw something up, it just falls out. It's like when you go to the teller at the bank thing, when you stick the little thing in it and it just goes up like that. That's exactly what it's like. Your bucket's like that now. And you're just trying to keep the lights on. You're trying to keep everything else going. And I know how you feel. This class is going to change your perspective on all that. And you'll be able to laugh at that stuff. Just like I'm laughing at it today. But once upon a time, I was a servant to those lenders. And I had to do what they said. I had to get up when they told me to get up. But I'm going to show you guys up here at the top. Those of you guys in TikTok land. You see this up here at the top, this map up here? That's me. That's what I did for 2.5 years. I traveled in my vehicle, no state plates, figured this stuff out, and went and did it. And I'm going to tell you, I've done a lot of these other processes too. A big video right now that's really hot right now is this video that I did where I was talking about A for V. I'm going to show you where those remittances actually go. So if you guys want to do the whole remittance thing, I'll show you where they go. And you can get your credits back. Yeah. I'm told you can. And I'm going to tell you, I haven't personally done it. Okay? Because I don't have time to go down there and to go do all that stuff. It's a lot. It's a pain. But hey, if you got nothing else better to do and you want to go down there and go stand in line and go put your stuff in the remittance hole down there and I'll tell you where it is. Come take my class. I'll tell you where it is. You guys can go. I'll tell you, to have all kinds of fun. And what happens is, those are deposits that go back. Now, how did they go back? Because you performed. See, they presented you with the remittance. You took the remittance. That means you performed. You acted as such, took the remittance, put it back. And it went back to where it was supposed to go, which I'll talk about in my class. And where it does that, that's when that transaction that started at the Treasury, it now ends back at the Treasury. Oh, shoot. I told you guys. Because that remittance started at the Treasury. We're going to talk about this in my class. It actually started at the Treasury. No kidding. There's an account and a routing number right there at the bottom when you look at it. Those aren't just like random numbers, table number. They're really good. They're not that. No. These are just like, these are like check numbers. These are check numbers and rounding numbers. I know Sean's all looking at his. He's all going through the mail over there. Yeah, man, I got one over here. His eyebrows about to fall off his head over here. He just saw one. So you'll see it at the bottom. So here's what they did. Your little security agreement was placed at the Treasury for payment, okay? But they need performance. So it's not about you paying the bill. Look, Sean's holding one up now. It's like he found one. And your eyebrow came back. That's amazing, dude. That thing was way out there. It was like Charlie Brown's eyebrow. You know how it just bounces in the air on its own? It was like that, man. Dang. Anyway, so what happens is that they take that transaction, like your light bill, your water bill, and all that stuff, and they place it for payment, okay? And then they send you the remittance, and then what are you supposed to do? Send it back with your payment. Well, what do you think they do with it? They take it to the remittance window, which is where I'm going to talk to you guys about. And then when they take it back to the remittance window, they get to claim the credit rather than you. Oops.
Pastor Tim, isn't that double dipping?
Oh, hey man, everything is double dipped, man. Everything is double dipped. Guys, I'm going to talk to you guys about car purchases and how those are actually done. And I will tell you, cars are sold 2 and 3 times in car dealerships all the time. That's why they can do really stupid stuff. You've all heard those stories about dealerships doing crazy stuff like painting a car or something dumb like that. You know what I mean? Where they've just done something really outrageous or something happened. You know, somebody did say, oh, you know what? I'll tell you guys a story about that. So there was a sales... I got a bunch of them. There was a salesperson I knew that was over at this Ford store that I worked at. This was 20 years ago, a long time ago. Anyway, and she... pardon the term, but it's just what we called it back then. She jicked an application, which means she gave somebody a job that doesn't have one, okay? And when you have credit buyers that have low credit scores, we call them SPI-FI deals. And SPI-FI means like special finance is what it stands for. So it's special finance. So SPI-FI, get it? Anyway, so we call those SPI-FI deals. And but here's the thing about these SPI-FI deals. They already know these people are a credit risk, okay? So that means they want like references. And if you're in New Mexico, they want to, in some cases, they'll want a map to your house. Like if you have dirt roads going to your house, they're going to want a map to it. And the salesman has to go with you. It's dumb. Anyway, and they'll do stuff like that before they'll fund them, okay? Anyway, in this particular case, she jicked an application, said that she worked at some, whatever, car wash, doesn't matter. And they called the car wash. They saw a paycheck stub from the car wash, but she didn't actually work at the car wash. So, oops. Yeah, now somebody's in trouble. So instead of the deal going through, the lady shows up with an attorney. And they say, we're going to da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Next thing you know, they're picking out a car and driving home. And their dreams are coming true today at the Ford store. These things happen in Ford stores, in any store. That happens all the time. Stuff like this always happens. And they'll just lose a car. Or, here's another one. The general manager of the store will take on like these trouble case people and try to give them jobs as salespeople and put them back together and thinking that's going to do something good for them. And it actually turns them into a bigger dope fiend than what they were, or a bigger thief than what they were, or a bigger egomaniac than what they were. But anyway, they raise these little Cabbage Patch Kids, is what I call them at car dealerships. And they'll do stuff like the GM will kiss the note. In other words, he'll co-sign on a note. So they'll go get a car, right? And then they'll wreck that car like that fast. Like payment's not even due yet, and they're wrecking the car. And then the dealership just ends up eating the car because now they're not going to make a payment on it now because, you know, it's no fun now because they're just roaches anyway, and that's just what they do. So this is what I'm talking about. Stuff like this happens in dealerships all the time, and it doesn't get claimed on insurance. Here's how it's resolved. It's resolved through floor planning, okay? And what happens is they'll sell a car 2 and 3, 4 times sometimes. You guys ever had one of your friends That maybe their credit was a little shaky or they were young and, whatever. Okay. And they needed to work on their credit over the weekend, like they're building a house or changing oil on a power plant or something. It's dumb, the stuff car people say. But anyway, or I love it when they say, we're going to pull up your deal right now. Hold on a second. Is it heavy? You need 2 hands? You need backup? I mean, where's the deal at? Is it in Shoal or something? Or you pulled it in? Never mind. I love it when our doctors say that. They always say stuff like, oh, let me go pull up your file. Okay. Makes you wonder where it is actually. Anyway, so sorry, I'm going to get sidetracked with that. What was I saying? Gosh, where was I? I apologize. Something just dripped over here. I apologize. Anyway, so getting back to this whole car thing. They'll sell the car, your friends, they'll put your friends in the car, right? They'll take the car on a Friday, and then by Monday, the salesperson is telling him to bring the car back. Or come put $10,000 down or something like that, right? You ever have friends that had that happen to them? Oh, your one's like, it happened to me, man. Well, guess what they did? When they ran you through the box, and when I say the box, that means the finance office, you signed contracts. They made you feel like you owned the car. Well, you did. But then they put you together to voluntarily bring it back. And everybody's in on this. Trust me. They'll call the cops. They'll call everyone. The cops will be like, yeah, man, dealership says they got to have the car back. They got to have it, man. We don't care what paperwork you have. It doesn't matter about legalities. If they say you got to do it, you got to do it. And that is just proof and point that the police do not help people. They help businesses that pay taxes. That's what cops do. Sheriffs, that's a whole nother story. They help people. But the city cops... No. Look at them in San Antonio. Don't ever go to San Antonio and think a city cop's going to help you there. Because if anything, they're going to shake you down for revenue. Straight up. Yeah. Look at the doors in San Antonio. You'll see it say proudly serving the Alamo City. Who's the Alamo City? I'm not the Alamo City. Juan's not the Alamo City. Nobody else is the Alamo City. So what does that tell you? They work for an entity. That's what that means. So they're like mall cops, which is bigger bicycles, basically. And smaller intellects. And they all beat their wives. Yes, they do. I'm so sorry. Anyway, but some people just ask for that. Never mind, I'm not going to do that. Anyway, that's so heartless. Forgive me. Anyway, so this kind of stuff happens. This is the stuff we're going to be talking about in this class. I'm also going to be talking to you guys about monetizing these things. And what does that mean? Sean, what does it mean when we're monetizing a contract? What does that actually mean? Go ahead. What's it mean? Come on, tell everybody. Were you paying attention in class?
It means you're going to get your money back.
Well, you get not necessarily your money back, but you get your performance. I mean, you do get your money back, but you get the interest that comes back with it too.
Correct.
So that means everything. Do you know that big number on the right-hand side of your contracts? If you look at the truth in lending statement, it says, this is your payments. This is how, your payment's $495 a month, and you're going to make $3 million of those payments, and it's going to be at 6.9%, and then you're going to have the sales price, and then you have the big price, and that's that big price. The one that's really, really big on the very end, and you're like, dang, we better pay this thing off quick. That thing. That's how much your contracts are worth.
And if you pay it off early, you'll make money. You'll make a profit.
Yes, you will. And how do you know that? What makes you so smart, Sean?
I went through Tim's process and his paperwork and did it correctly, and they're going to give me tax credits.
$147,000 worth. You see? This is when you're doing a service to people. When people are doing the right thing and they're focusing, this is something everybody in America used to know how to do. Everybody knew this stuff. Everybody knew what these security agreements were because they had to tell people what they were. And at some point, it started just dumbing people down. They invaded our school systems. They destroyed the family unit. They attack it constantly. You stick your head out of your bowl, you stick your head out of your house for a second. Somebody's on your husband, somebody's on your wife. I'm telling you. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And you ever notice how skinny girls always get like really big girls? They always come over and help them. They're like, no, my friend Barbara knows what's up. She knows. She told me. And they're like, Barbara. You know what I mean? And then her friend's in the car. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess you got to get advice from somebody. Anyway, but it's true. You know, guys, we can do this better. And in this class, I'm going to teach you guys how to do this better. I'm going to show you how I've done it better. Now, we had a really phenomenal firm mailing class just last Wednesday. And I mean, we had 7 people in that class. And that's kind of big for me. That's too big, almost too big of a class for me. So that's why if you guys want to get in tomorrow night's class, we have 1 seat left. That's it. Just one. And it's going to be a 2-day class. You're in it. You're already in the class. I already have you in the class. But anyway, we have 1 seat left. I don't like them to get too big. And here's why. How are you going to teach a private process to a room full of people? I mean, hello, who ordered the oxymoron with extra cheese? Really? Because there you go. Boom. And come on, man. We're going to do this a lot smarter than that. This stuff has to be taught in small bites. Very, very, very small bites. Because it's very specific. And the problem that we're having with... the problem I had with a lot of the teachers out there, and even when I was waking up back in 2015, is that you have too many of these ghost guinea pig teachers. You guys know what I'm talking about? Those are the people, Natasha, you know what I'm talking about? Those are those people that have these great ideas on how the earth is flat or round or shaped like an arrow or something like that. And then they're going to tell you to go do all this stuff. And they're going to present themselves as if they know what they're doing or they've done it before. You know what I'm talking about?
I do. Actually, I was listening to a lady about negotiable instruments and stuff like that, and she was actually with her process and stuff, and she was forewarning, people that there's a lot of, so-called mentors and stuff out there. She said, but just make sure that you understand that some people out there aren't meant to be good and they're more predatorial, so just, use your best instincts and stuff,
Definitely.
But yeah, you're correct though. They want you to go do all the legwork and see if this process does work. And that's one thing with you. You've already done all this. You've already taken out all the heartburn for us. So.
That's true. Yeah, the heartburn is taken out. And more importantly, you guys, if something happens, all you have to do is call. All you have to do is get me in there. Sean, I've known Sean for a couple of years now. And, he's had some stuff that has hit his house. He's had some storms hit his house. And I've been there for him and made sure that other people were there for him. Juan, same way. We've been doing this a few years now. And, and Natasha never needs any help because she's awesome. She just gets it handled up there. I don't know what she does. I don't know, man. She just commands performance up there. I don't know, man. It's amazing what she does. But she balances it all and she carries it all. But if somebody needed help up there, I'm sure she'd go and help. And, we're all about that. We're all about helping you guys. And that's what we want to do. I don't want to compete with anybody because I don't have to. Did you hear what I said? I don't have to compete with anybody because I'm the only guy out there that survived the repo man. I'm the only one. Who else has? Who else has survived the repo man? Who has gone in, foreclosed on their bank, said, aha, I'm taking this car, that's it. If you do this, it's mine. And they're like, oh yeah? We're going to do it then, let's see. Huh. Oops. They lost it. Who else has done that? And not only that, done it, but 2 years later, still in the same car. Now, this next year, I think I'm going to I'm going to get a newer car just to say, okay, I made my point. But, because I like to do the 3-year thing. But this next year, I'm going to get a new car just to make my point. But, I'm going to show you guys how to watch for holes in your contract. And more importantly, I'm going to show you how to challenge those contracts properly with real results, okay? With real support. Now, do the classes cost anything? Yes, they do. Yeah, they cost. But any help that you need afterwards, just set an appointment with me. I'm here for all of my students. And you will never call my office or call and talk to me and me tell you, well, I think you just need to go study some more. I mean, I have students that will sit there and ask me a battery of questions, seriously, from the class. Like we just had class the day before. And they'll ask me, Natasha, a battery of questions that were all in the class. I mean, and I'm thinking to myself, I saw you there. Did you have cotton in your ears? You know what I mean? Whatever. But, and you know what? Some people just don't get it that first time around. So, you know what? I had to sit down and break it down. And that's what we do. I don't have a problem with that.
Yeah, because everybody kind of learns on their own different level, or, you know, sometimes you'll hear me like, oh, and the little light bulb goes on is what I call it. You know, you're like, oh, just like a while ago when you were talking about the remittance coupons and how, you know, it makes that circle back around. And I was like, oh, just like the checks that we write, you know, it makes it circle back around at the bank. I was like, so everything just starts falling in line, you know?
Well, yeah, because now they can verify that you performed. And then if you didn't send the little thing back because you did an electronic payment, well, they just go print another one. Sean says, I'll trade 500 bucks for 100,000 over and over. Thank you, man. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much. Of course, I would too. Woo, it's great to have rich friends. I'm going to be like Willie Nelson. If anybody ever comes after me, all my friends will just come and buy all my stuff back. I'm sure that's exactly what will happen. You heard that. That's what happened to Willie. The IRS seized everything. And everybody loved Willie Nelson so much, they just showed up and bought all of his stuff back, even less than what he owed for the debt in the first place, and then gave him his stuff back. That happened. We love you that much too. That's exactly what we'll do. And this is what we do for all of our students. And we've been doing this for 9 years, so we're not going anywhere. And we're not going anywhere soon. But the big thing that we're going to be focusing on tomorrow is going to be, or Wednesday, is managing your trust, you know, and managing your trust from a legal standpoint. Okay. How do we step into these arenas, and how do we really move in common law in a way that you actually get results? Okay. Not sending a bunch of reckless notices to people. I'm talking about where stuff actually happens, where it gets done, where you're filing, where you're sending, notices to pay or to cease and desist, and things are, you got a 2-3 day turnaround. Everything's good. You know, I'm talking about that kind of stuff. And when you assert yourself properly, you're in a market to receive what you're looking for. If you don't, you're just swinging the bat. You're literally swinging the bat. There, you know, we were talking about this a second ago. There's a lot of people out there throwing perfectly clean underwear up against the wall to see if it will stick. Really. And I got to tell you, that's done at your expense. You guys. And I got to tell you, if you're going to do anything, if you're going to learn a process, learn it from somebody that's done it. If it's not me, learn it from somebody that's done it. Not that they say they've done it, not somebody that can sell you they've done it, but they've actually done it. Another thing too is that if they won't tell you their real name, just know that right off the bat, you're dealing with somebody that's going to deceive you. Just telling you. Nobody, and I have talked to lots of gurus over the last 9 years. Lots of teachers, lots of people that, you know, say they know things and they sound intelligent, but here's the thing, they can't explain their processes. I mean, I know a guy in Houston, and he's killing it. Sean says, I showed my parents that your process works. One second. That your process works, and you're a real person and not an AI bot. And they're interested in taking my class. Well, tell them, come on. We'd love to have them. We got, I have a UCC and trust class. It's not on the website, but it's going to be on the 26th and 27th. It's end of the month. Somebody asked me to do it. I scheduled it. We rescheduled, actually, the one we had at the beginning of the month, we rescheduled it to the end of the month is what happened. So if you guys are interested in getting your foundation set up, getting all this infrastructure set up so that you can operate properly, here's what I'm not going to do. I'm not going to tell you to do anything that's dishonorable. I'm not going to tell you to do anything that's illegal. Never. And I will never tell you to lie to anybody, misrepresent yourself in any way. Okay? Everything that we do is on point and it works. And this is why I've been doing this for 9 years and nobody else has. There are no other teachers in this market except for Anna Von Wright, which I think she's a plant. But except for Anna Von Wright, nobody has been out there longer than me. Nobody. Derek Gonzalez, nope. Mm-mm. And then the other ones that were out there, they're dead. You know, Patrick Devine, he's dead. David Strait, he's gone. Who else? Who else is gone? What's that other guy's name? Natasha, what's that other guy's name? Jordan Maxwell. Yeah. I met him. I met Jordan Maxwell. I met Patrick Devine. And I will tell you, both of them, very intelligent people. But they didn't have all the goods. They didn't have a successful system that works. Everything was still guesswork. Everything was still running and chasing shadows like Scooby-Doo and the gang. It really was. And we need to stop that. We really need to stop that. Look, the resources and everything that you need to be successful are right out here in the open, man. Come and take the class. I'll teach you how to operate properly. And more importantly, I'll teach you how to operate where you're heard. I'm going to tell you, every template letter, every letter that I've assisted any student in writing, it doesn't just go to whoever it goes to. It goes to them, and then it goes to the legal department. Why? Because we know how to speak. And more importantly, we understand presentment. This is something you're going to learn in this class tomorrow. We're going to be talking a lot about presentment. Now, I have one seat available, and if others want to join this class, what'll happen is I'll just do a rain check, and we'll just do that class next month. It'll be in July, but I'll move you guys over to the July class. But I want to interview with you guys first. I want to talk with you. I want to know where you're at in your process so that I can help you. Okay. If you guys are dealing with credit problems, if you guys are dealing with cleaning up your credit and stuff like that, we're going to be talking about that in this class. Here's another one we're going to be talking about: expunging records. Yeah. See, there's a little tax thing. There's a little tax form that needs to be filed. Those of you guys that might have had like an old conviction years ago, there's a little tax form that needs to be filed. My classes are $475. They're 2 days and 6 hours long. They're very long. You get a lot of information and plus unlimited support from me. And that's unlimited. That's for years. So I want you guys to know that if you're willing to make an investment in us, our community outreach here, I'm willing to make that an investment in you. That means I'm going to stay on board with you. And my students, I've never let them down, and I've been here for 9 years. I'm going into 9 years. So no reason for me to stop now. What else? Let's see. I was talking about claims. I was talking about convictions. Yeah, there's a little tax form that has to be filed. But I'm going to tell you that they don't file it. And in class, I'm going to tell you why they don't file it. And this creates an opportunity. And after you start taking my classes, or if you guys start taking my classes, you'll notice that that's exactly what I am, as an opportunist. And I'm an opportunist that's taken those opportunities, really, every one of them. And some of them good, some of them not so bad. But you know what? I take the hits, so you don't have to. I can tell you everything that's in the room on any process that I teach. This is something that a lot of teachers don't have because they're relying on third person. They're relying, oh, well, my friend told me, and I'm just a speaker for my friend. What if that little friend lives in his head and he's in there? What if it's that? I'm just saying, because nobody taught me anything. Nobody taught me any of these processes specifically. You know what? I humbled myself before Yah. I learned who he was. I learned how to serve him. And I did. And I mean, without reservation, without, I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's what we do. I honor Shabbat. I don't care what happens in my life. I will be doing Shabbat. And all of those other things. So I started doing that and matching him. And you know what I learned? You guys might think that's like religious foo-foo or something, but here's what I learned. When I started doing all that stuff and I started being obedient and I started talking to him, he started talking to me back. I started feeling his presence in the morning. I started knowing who he was. It was like having a parent there, you know? And, you know, for me, my parents aren't around. So it was nice to have my dad there. You know, Father's Day was a really lonely day for me. Well, it should have been, but it really wasn't. Because he was there, and he was there to talk to. But here's the other part of this. If you serve him, this is why I jumped on board. Number one, it's the only guarantee you can get. Number two, he says, and it says in there, if you do what I tell you to do, I will teach you whatever you want to know. Whatever you need to know, the desires of your heart, I will teach them to you. Solomon did it. He asked for wisdom, and that turkey wrote Proverbs like that. He did, because he lived it, okay? And because he served Yah. You know what? I started doing the same thing. And so not one single person necessarily taught me any of this stuff, but I started intersecting with systems. I started intersecting some people. I would intersect with them and they would talk to me. And then as soon as it was like there was a switch on in the back of them that somebody turned on, hey, and good to see you. It was like somebody that turned on a switch and said, you know, it was just obvious. I got to tell you, man. Hey, welcome to the call, man. So glad that you're here. But anyway, when I started doing that, he started teaching me all these things. And what was really cool was I have a really long work history. I've done lots of things. I've been a touring musician. I have been in the car business for 23 years, 8 years as a finance director. I was a landscaping contractor. I've owned restaurants and, what else have I done? And various other things, lots of other things. So I've had a lot of exposure to a lot of different work environments. But when I worked credit and started learning credit and how all this stuff works, and then when I went to finance school, that changed everything. And I learned a lot. But none of that stuff came together until I got right with Yah and I got obedient. And as soon as I did, I knew exactly who my Heavenly Father's name was. I knew exactly how to talk to him. And you know what? He rewarded me and turned on all these lights. And here's what I found out. All this knowledge, thank you so much. All this knowledge that I wanted to have, it was right here in front of me the whole time. It took eyes to see and ears to hear to get there. And this is how I got this information. And then I started going to the IRS and talking to them. I opened up a 501c3. I learned how to do that too. I play 13 different instruments. And you know what? I'll probably learn how to play more because I just like to learn stuff. So this class is going to be an amazing class because we're going to be covering your finances. You're going to know how they're doing what they're doing. Those of you guys that are having debt problems, getting sued in court, you know what? Come take this class. This class will teach you how to be ready. And not only that, you got support. Because now that we're operating out of the same playbook, I can show you how to use that playbook no matter what. I can show you how to sharpen one side and dull the other. Whatever we need to do to shake and bake this chicken, we'll do it. And I've been doing this so long, it just works. You know, Christine Caton was on the call, and she's not on a call tonight, but, you know, she had a $7,700 lawsuit, something like that. It was dismissed just like that. Hey, man, thank you so much. Thank you so much. Wow. Her lawsuit was dismissed like that. And I'm talking about all we did was one filing, you guys. Sean, he had $1 million suit against him. And then they dismissed it, and now they're reneging. But who cares? They still dismissed it. And no matter what happens from here forward, that has precedence. And because it has precedence, thank you so much. Because it has precedence, he's able to collect damages now. Now he can show, So right now, we're letting him break all the dishes in the kitchen, and that is fine with us because we're going to be sweeping all those dishes up, and we're going to tell him how much they cost. And I'm going to show you guys how to move, how to work this way so that you guys can be successful in your processes. Look, man, the days of you guys sitting around and being victims is over. Okay? You know what? If these people want to keep their slave collars on and stand in line, good for them. But for the rest of you guys that are tired of getting beat up by these guys, you're tired of being undermined by everybody, or by these banks, everybody else. And let me tell you, banks know everything about you. You guys are tired of that? Hey man, this is the class you need to get in. This is the class that's going to give you the ability to look over the fence. Okay? Now that you can look over the fence, you know what's going on. Now you can write the rules. And you really can. Okay? I'm going to teach you some basics about contracts. And ladies and gentlemen, I haven't just taken one car from a bank. I've taken quite a few. I've taken jet skis. We've taken cars, houses. I had two of my students 2 years ago. 2 of my students 2 years ago foreclosed on their homes, used my process, and it worked. Now they had to add one little thing to it, but I'm going to tell you what they added in the class, and it was just so intelligent to do. These guys even went to foreclosure. This bank, those big dummies, they filed a foreclosure on them anyway. And when they filed the foreclosure on them, they lost. And they lost with prejudice. That means no refile. That means no more payments. That means no more tears. And this happened in California and in Georgia. I'm sorry. Yeah, California and in Georgia and another one in Kansas. That was 3 actually. Yeah. And everybody's happy today. This was 2.5 years ago. Everybody's still happy. Nobody went to jail. Nobody got into trouble. See, this is the stuff you need to look for in your teachers, okay? Big deal they got away with this one time. Let's see if the door's open and see if everybody gets away with it. If everybody gets away with it, we got something that works. In other words, if you can duplicate your process, it works. If you can't duplicate your process, then theoretically, you got lucky. Just saying. So I'm going to tell you, these processes that I have, these templates that you're going to get from me, the preparation you're going to get from me, and the backup you'll get from me, if you guys ever get sued in court, you won't need to call a lawyer. You can handle it yourself. Because what you're going to learn in my class is that these guys don't speak. No. They don't speak. Listen to what I'm saying. These judges, these lawyers, yes, they lie, but they don't speak. They do lots of things, but they don't speak. Do you know what they do? I know you're like, well, yes, they do. I heard them speak the other day. One of them told me to, yeah, I know. They tell me that too. But here's what they're really doing. They don't speak real well. If you'll notice when you try to engage an attorney, they just shut down and they don't talk. You ever notice that? You be talking to and down they go. and here's why. Because those little monkeys don't know how to speak anymore. Here's what they know how to do, Sean. They know how to spell. The price of my class is $475. It's a 2-day class, 6 hours. So it's going to be the 18th and 19th, 6 hours. You're going to get all the templates. You're going to get videos. You're going to get everything. And you get invited to my class. I mean, you get invited to the, we have a freedom page. We have another page that we use on Facebook for all of our members. And I share stuff on there. It's a completely private page. You can't share stuff off of it either. It's just for our students and our students only. And it's called HICO Students Only. Anyway, it's a fantastic little group of folks. And we're all over the world. I literally have students all over the world, from the United Kingdom to New Zealand to Australia. I mean, everywhere. As long as they got a birth certificate there, we have students there. It's crazy, but it works. And I'll tell you the difference in my class versus the other classes is that, yes, you're going to get a lot of information, but every circle that I draw for you, you'll have closure. It will close for you, okay? I'm not going to send you any open-ended stuff like this. Oh, but you got to check this out. Oh, but you got to check this out. Well, and it may work if you do this. These are things you're not going to hear in my class. I'm going to show you things that work. And my students can sit here and tell you how well it does work. This is about your financial future. This is about planning for your family. I mean, how many of you guys yell at your kids and say, we go to work every day, we're killing ourselves for you, and you won't even clean your room, or stuff like that? You know what I'm talking about? But the point, Juan's like, yeah, man, I say that all the time. Anyway, but the implication here is, the implication really here is that you're saying that, hey, you go and you do this for them, right? Well, why don't you really go and do it for them? Huh? Seriously, moms, dads, stop holding on to your stuff and saying, oh, it's my boat. Yeah, it's my truck out there. That's my house. It's right there. Because, see, what Sean learned is when they learn that you have all that stuff, then they want to sue you for stupid amounts of money. Why? Because they know that you're insured. Do you realize that when we hold on to property, that's like you leaving a 6-pack of beer at the dock. Somebody's going to find it. Probably a teenager. Probably. You know, as I was a teenager, I used to find stuff like that at the docks all the time. Just check them on Monday morning. You'd be seeing it. But because you could just look it up just that easy. Just as easy as I used to walk out to the dock and see who left whatever out there. I was a kid. That's what kids do. But this is what we do to ourselves when we decide that we want to hoard things or we want to have property. Take my trust class. I'm going to show you where to put your property. No, I'm going to show you where to put your property. And I'm going to show you how to use it. And I'm going to show you where you're at in this process. And when you figure out where you're at in this process and you actually see where you are, you're the most protected person in the room. I don't care if you're going through a divorce. I don't care what you're going through. You're the most protected person in the room if nobody can take your stuff. What happens when people go to jail? Huh? Well, most people take pleas that they should never take. But they take them because of my brain just broke. They use it by financially leading you. I mean, hey, if you don't take this deal, then your house is going to die. You're going to lose your job. You're not going to feed your dog. He's going to die too. Your kids won't remember who you are. I mean, all this stuff starts flooding through your head because that's what they're doing. They're doing all this spelling, you see. And they're putting all this witchcraft in your head. So they call it economic cohesion. Yeah, it's economic coercion, economic coercion. Because they're putting you in an economic position where you have to make a choice. You know, my friend Juan just got a citation in New Mexico yesterday. Yeah, but anyway, he gets one, right? And it says on the ticket, when you sign this is an admission of guilt. I mean, does this come with a t-shirt that says I'm screwed or what? I mean, and then you just have to pay it. I mean, you're just not getting out of it. You just, here, there you go. You can't even fight it. It's already an admission of guilt. They already closed you out. Why? It's terrible. Well, these guys know how to contract. But guess what? Those roads are wide open and they work both ways. That means you can use them too. And I'm going to show you guys how to use them and how to close the doors on these people when they're not doing the right thing. Those of you guys that are minorities, okay? Let me tell you about the banks, okay? They know you are a minority. That's why they tell you to check that little box. And then all that other stuff that they got to you. While you were just thinking about the ceiling fan, the car with the better stereo, or whatever you were thinking about doing while you were filling out that application, what these guys were doing is they were learning about you. They wanted to know how much it costs to break you. Mm-hmm. That means how many times can we run to the treasury on this person, okay? And how much would it and how much would the payments be if we were going to break this person? What's the payment threshold to keep this under? These are all factors, okay? And when you fill out an application, I'm going to talk more about this in my class, is to beg. And see, they capture all that information. And those of you guys that are minorities, these are the ones that talk crazy to you on the phone. I'm going to go over a case where this actually happened to one of my students, and we took that car from them for that. Yes, we did, because it was a breach of contract. And I'm going to show you guys how to stand up and do it legally, and they'll never see you coming. Because, see, when they look at your background, some of y'all might have real limited backgrounds, and that's okay, man. It's okay to have a limited background, because then they don't know that much about you. Then they just think you're dumb. That's what they think about me. They do. And then they try all this stupid stuff. This is why I know all this stupid stuff, because I've been through it. I've lived through it. And you know what? I'm still here smiling about it. This is going to be a phenomenal class. If you guys are interested in taking this class, I have 1 seat left. I might squeeze 2, but probably 1 seat, okay? The rest of you guys, I'll move to next month. But you guys, I just want to keep the classes kind of small. But if you guys are a married couple, that's 1 person, okay? So that's cool. So come on. This is going to be a fantastic workshop. You guys are going to be able to see things in your transactions you've never seen before. We're going to do things and travel on highways you've never been on before. But the end of that road is those tax returns, is that blessing and knowing how to retrieve these contracts. And more importantly, capture and capitalize on your labor. We all know that our labor is the most powerful thing that we have, right? It's worth more than the little money they give us. Our labor is worth way more than that. And if you put a value on your labor, expect nothing more than a blessing if you know how to contract. That's exactly what these guys are going to do. And I'm going to teach you guys how to do the same. Guys, we are out of time, but I want to thank everybody that's been here tonight. All of you guys on TikTok, man. Call my office tomorrow, 210-605-0144. That's 210-605-0144. Call my office tomorrow between the hours of 10 and 4 p.m. tomorrow, okay? And if you want to get in this class, call my office tomorrow. We'll do a small interview, and I might let another person in here if we've got some really good like minds. I just want to make sure everybody's, of the same kind of caliber. I like to keep my classes like that. It just makes things a lot easier. So I want to thank all of you guys for being here. Thank all of you guys for your time today. Be blessed in all you do. And I look forward to meeting you guys. Remember this, if you learn something from anybody, make sure they have fruits. If they don't have fruits, they're a fruit cake. That's right. Be blessed, everybody. Good night.
Blessings. Good night.
Good night, you guys.
Right.
Hold on. All right.
Call recording.